When you collect knives, very quickly you will learn that almost none of them, no matter how expensive they are, come with a perfect edge from the factory, which means you'd have to learn how to sharpen them yourself. And what's better way than using fixed angle sharpening devices? Well, at least while you're learning, that's the best way in my humble opinion. So welcome to my unbiased, unaffiliated gear review channel. Let's talk sharpeners, and today... So this is a surprise. I've been using XARILK Gen 3 to do some sharpening tutorial videos. And I've been very happy with this device, but I always get comments that it's a knockoff of the TS Prof Kadet. Both are imported. XARILK from China, TS Prof from Russia. $110 versus $440 and up. That's 4 to 5 times more for the Russian. How much more do you get for extra $400 or so? Some cheaper ones have this part uncoated, and I have no idea which one I got. I didn't select it. That is a gift to me. This is indeed Russian. Fans of mine who know that I was born in Russia and grew up in Ukraine, they probably want me to say a few words in Russian. So it says here, Система заточки ножей, knife sharpening system. There's like an address, and actually Google mapped it. And indeed, down there's a warehouse style industrial building. This factory is located near a city of Izhevsk. Those of you who are big AK collectors, that's where a lot of AKs, RPKs, and other fun devices are made in that city. Not the same factory, obviously. There's definitely no shortage of know-how in machine shops around that town. The way Russian education system used to work when I lived in Soviet Union, you could go to high school, you could go to trade school and become a machinist, so from a very young age. I just want to point out that it came in an outer cardboard box, but when I pulled the inner box, clearly something was trying to break loose from the inside. It broke through, pushed through the cardboard outwards. Here you go. Kind of weird. All right. Okay. That's like a dust cover on the cardboard box. All right. You don't need it. Going forward. Any rubles in there? No rubles. Put that away. Okay. So XARILK came in a much simpler packaging, but the packaging was intact. And it had like foamy inserts to hold everything in, which I can reuse. Okay. Okay. I see. All right, I got uncoated version, which is what I was hoping for, because otherwise it would really get confusing doing side-by-side shots with the XARILK. I was really hoping for that. Yes, everything is uncoated. Perfect. They did not cheap out, whoever made them didn't cheap out on production time. They actually ran high speed, slow feed, as they say in the machine shops. Here's the sharpening guide rod. Yeah, some kind of... smells like Soviet furniture. Oh, awesome. How awesome is that? Brings childhood memories. I'm covered in these foamies. What does it do? Why is it? Oh, great. A foot is missing. There it is, found it. Oh, it's glued. All right. You know what? I would be really pissed off if I paid $440 for this, because that little rubber foot is detached. Peel and stick TS Prof thingy here. Gimbal is very similar. Wait a minute. This is supposed to spring tension. That I like, actually. This piece I like better. The XARILK spring is now sort of fatigued and doesn't provide as much compression as this spring. Like that. I'm not sure that I like the brass here. This is brass, aluminum housing. Here we got aluminum housing and steel, and also steel sleeve. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So here's the gimbal. Try to give you side by side here. So very similar, but here they have a washer and a weaker spring. So right now the spring lost some tension. I have to take it apart and stretch it or replace it with another spring. Well, I don't know if it's supposed to point at the center of this plate right here. It doesn't. The base is kind of pointing that way just a few degrees, and or this mast base is pointing this way. Interesting. Okay. This is similar. That I like. I think this is the tensioner. So once I clamp it, I can also lock it down here to preclude any kind of possibility of motion. And then this guy will go on. A plastic washer, cool. So there's definitely a little bit of a play here, side to side, before I put the screw on. Is that all aluminum? This is aluminium. Alumini, as they say in Mother Russia. Alumini, all the way through aluminum. These are steel, stainless. Okay. It says it's a Pro. I don't see any. So I thought with a Pro I would get like a angle finder. Currently, I'm working on a dual feature, 2 videos that relate to these 2 knives, and I sharpened them using these 2 devices. And already have some lessons learned. I had to add this stop. It just comes with 1 stop on the back here. I had to add the forward stop because I was sharpening this knife on it, and the plate skips off. See these toward the tip, those striations are from the edge of the sharpening plate skipping off when I get to the end of the stroke. And this was the same. I had to do that with the XARILK as well. What I wanted to show you, it also comes with these rod retainers. Let me pause here for a second, put it on. So this is how it operates. It sits on this collar here, and when I want to park it, I have to kind of press it in, but I don't know, it's a little flimsy, and obviously this size stop collar won't work with that because it will end up in between. All right, I was able to reposition these, and now that kind of works. you kind of have to pay attention to it when you're inserting this pause in there. Sorry, dirty hands with sharpening. Anyway, the jury's still out. Do we need these? Do we not need these? That they gave me 2 in case I break one, but they don't fit the XARILK, so the gimbal dimension here is not the same. So here's the plate. It's 400, but the number is covered by the guide rod, and there's nothing on this side that tells me it's 400. After one sharpening, I'm starting to see some deterioration, couple scratches here. Nitro V's what I was sharpening. Anyway, I wish they would have moved the writing. Sorry, I wish they moved the writing where I can easily see it. XARILK has theirs right on the plate. I can immediately tell which plate I have. Here are the 3 different manufacturers' plates side by side. As you can see, the TS Prof is wider by quite a bit, but it's $35 a pop for these plates, and SY2 is like $10 for $40. This is kind of a good thing. So when I adjust the angle, once it gets to my desired angle, I can clamp and unclamp the pinion without changing the actual angle. On XARILK, when I zero it out and I lift this lever, it changes just a little bit. So if I move it in this, when it's loose like that, and then first of all it moves a lot more, it's a little less tight, but when I get to my destination, clamping it can change it by a couple tenths of a degree. So what I'm doing is I'm lifting it partially and then rolling it, and now it feels every bit as smooth, maybe a little tighter, but just as smooth as the TS Prof. And probably because when I'm tightened on this device here partially, then the teeth on the pinion and on the rack here are meshed better. When I loosen it, they are out of mesh. Well, these guys machined it to tighter tolerances, but you know, it's your choice whether or not you want to pay for this kind of precision. I'm not saying it's good or bad. Don't yell at me in the comments, or yell all you want actually, but that's where the price difference goes. But then there are features that I like on this device that are not over there. For example, and I learned it very quickly as I started sharpening, I can actually, can you see it here? I can actually move this clamp to where it starts writing on this radius here, which will then change the angle on how it interfaces with the blade. So you have to do it, make sure you on the flat there, if you know what I mean. And that is totally not the case with the XARILK, because when I run out of the slot, you can see right here the radius doesn't start for another at least 4 millimeters, maybe 1/8 of an inch. So I like that, and because of that, and also because the slots are longer on the XARILK, it has a little bit more of a traverse range. And so when I push the paws or the jaws to the extreme, where I can't go any farther out, the XARILK gives me just under 6 inches, 5 7/8, and TS Prof gives me 5 5/16. little traverse. This is important when you run shorter blades with this. Okay, so here they are basically identical width. Another, I don't know, complaint or just a note. I've seen other reviewers of XARILK complain about stability. I did change feet on both of them. I put these furniture feet.
But on XARILK, they weren't falling off. They were just too hard and stuff was sticking to them. That's why I replaced them.
I'm going to zero that out. I'm going to press here to see. I'm getting about 1.8 kilo before it starts tilting forward. Let's take the gimbal out. Apples to apples, so to speak. Zero that out. Let's see here. Here I'm at 4 kilos where it starts wiggling. So much higher force, 3.8 kilos, 2 kilos different. The reason is this steel. Let me check with a magnet. Yeah, this is steel base, and on the XARILK it's much lighter because it's aluminum. But you know, this has mounting holes, so if you want to mount it on your bench or on a heavier plate, you can do that too. So it's just a difference. Again, I'm not going to qualify whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. A little bit on the indifferent side to me. But when I sharpen wider blades, it'll probably come in handy. There's a little less stability. Oh, let's do that. Let's do this now. Yeah. I'm not catching that. There you go. 1.4 kilos. And on this guy, I won't be able to flip it because if I push straight down, I'm still above the base. So this is kind of then, if it was a competition, that would be a wash because you don't want this just as much as you don't want this.
Let's check out angle adjustment range on TS Prof. I get 18.4 degrees.
So let's check out the range on the XARILK from top to bottom. Looks like XARILK has about a degree less. I don't know if it's important. Most of our sharpenings are happening in the mid-range. Anyway, let's compare the gimbal's height. That can give you additional angle if you raise the gimbal. And they're basically the same. Those are obvious differences. I haven't done enough sharpenings on the TS Prof to tell you more, but I will, so stay tuned.